I'm David Heitler-Clevens.
And I'm Rodney Wittenberg. And this is Music for the New Revolution. And it's part 2.
Yes, of our Woody Guthrie Labor Day weekend special.
And we have more wonderful quotes from and musings and thoughts from different artists and performers about Woody Guthrie.
Yeah, I think it's really gratifying that so many people, and a lot of these people are people that we're friendly with or have interviewed on the show before, but we really got an outpouring of wonderful testimonies about the importance of Woody Guthrie to many, many different people, even across the pond from England, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And in this episode, we'll see the just how far Woody Guthrie reaches with some of the musicians that are on this show. It's just, again, a big melting pot of different types of music and different types of artists who all show their love of Woody's work. Yeah.
Somehow it worked out that I think in part 1 we were pretty folky with a lot of the versions, although there was some rockin' stuff from Bruce Springsteen and some soul from Solomon Burke. But this one's going to be a little bit more far-ranging, I think, which is nice. We always like to have our shows be pretty eclectic stylistically. I think this one will be even more so than part 1.
Yes.
So a lot of the people who contributed quotes are covering a lot of ground. But one thing that I noticed that we didn't really talk that much about is the fact that, Woody had a very hard life. He had a lot of loss in his life, including, children, and there were fires. And of course, people know about the dust storms, which are just an incredible tragedy, that wiped out huge parts of, the country. And it's good sometimes for us to remember some of those things when we're going through tough times like we are today, that people have gone through tough times before and they've somehow managed to, persevere through that. And I think Woody's a good example of that. With all that tragedy, he kept traveling around the country, he kept writing songs. And I've always been really impressed, although I am totally not like this, at how he apparently, wrote a song like every day. He'd basically do a new song and he'd finish up whatever he'd worked, got a rough thing from the day before. So every day he basically was cranking out one new song. And even though, of course, lots of those songs were not entirely original, he often used tunes that came from elsewhere. Still, some of them were epics, like telling the whole story of the Grapes of Wrath in a song. I mean, that's unbelievable feat.
Well, it's also a great exercise as a writer. I hope to be able to try that one. I want to do that for a year.
They're writing a song every day?
Write a song every day.
Yeah.
And I guess there's nothing standing in my way except for me, but I would love to be able to write it, record it, and produce it every day and put a song out every day, even if it's as you say, maybe not that good. Each song would be like,
well, but, if you did that every day, a certain percentage of them would be good.
Yeah,
exactly. And I think that was the thing that he, that he did. And it is a good model. And I agree with you. I'd like to try it, but I have never done anything anywhere near that kind of regularity.
When I was younger, I think I got close. And he was my inspiration for that. I had a little journal, and I just... every morning I was so disciplined about writing and looking for something to say that was hiding up there in the ethers, floating around, trying to grab at it, because it's all there. We just have to go get it. And I think that's another thing that he showed us. One of the things I was thinking too about what you're saying, that about his hard life, I think that's what connected him so much to everybody, because life was hard back then. I mean, not that. Yeah. I mean, we think life is hard now, but boy, life was hard. I think pre-World War II, life was pretty hard for everybody, or a good chunk of people. Life was pretty rough, and not that it's not now.
Right. But there is a different, and it's interesting. I think, I had read, I mentioned The Grapes of Wrath, and I so much associate that Steinbeck novel with Woody because it has so much overlap with his experiences. And I remember reading that when I was a teenager, and then we listened to it with our sons when they were in high school a few years ago, and that book is amazing. I mean, it really stands up. And so if there are people out there who really aren't that familiar with some of the stuff that Rodney was just talking about, and they haven't read recently The Grapes of Wrath, it's just phenomenal, I think. And, both in the content, but also in the writing, that it just got so much originality and poetry, and it's just really a powerful piece, I think. I
think Steinbeck is a great companion to Woody. I mean, I always think of Mice and Men. That's the one that gets me. And just in thinking about whenever I think about that story, Woody is the soundtrack. Yeah. Well, it makes sense. And like I said, he did actually create an entire, Tom Joad song that told that whole story in two big parts. So. Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to hear a lot of other people talking. So once again, I think we'll kind of turn it over to them. But in between the talking, you'll hear some great versions of Woody's songs. So the first one you're going to hear is from the great group Sweet Honey and the Rock's version of Deportees. And then Wall of Voodoo, Pretty Boy Floyd, and I have seen them live. Oh, cool. I think this is a live version, actually. Maybe you saw them do this. And then Tom Juravich with the Ludlow Massacre. And then Billy Bragg and Wilco, All You Fascists. And that's a good example of one of these things that Nora Guthrie has gotten, these projects where they've taken Woody Guthrie lyrics and various artists have set them to music in new ways. And the next thing is one of those also, the Klezmatics, Klezmer group doing Gonna Get Through This World. And then the Dropkick Murphys, Gonna Be a Blackout Tonight. A good punk version of a Woody Guthrie song. And finally, we actually will hear from Sonia Rutstein. She sent me a demo with a version of This Land Is Your Land, and finally another minor key version from Sharon Jones and the Dap-Kings of that classic This Land Is Your Land.
Hi, David and Rodney. It's Peter Alsop out here in Topanga, California. First, I want to thank both of you for all the great stuff you're doing. We so need it. Let's see now. For the past 45 years that I've been married to Ellen Gear, I've had the honor of playing Woody Guthrie in a fundraising show we do for our theater out here, the Will Gear Theatricum Botanicum, which was started by Ellen's parents, the actors Herta Ware and Will Gear. Woody and Will were buddies, so the Gear and Guthrie families got to hang out with each other a bit. Here's a couple of my favorite Woody sayings from the show. People would ask Woody, "Would you teach me how to play the guitar?" And Woody would say, "Hell yes, just get yourself a guitar, plank your ass up against a wall, start fiddling with the strings, and when you got a crowd around you big enough to take up a collection, you know how to play the guitar." And I like this one too. Evidently, Woody quit a perfectly good job working at Radio City in New York because the MC insisted on calling him a hillbilly singer. Woody said, "I don't sing any songs that make fun of your color or your race. I hate a song that makes you think you aren't any good. I hate a song that makes you think you're just born to lose, bound to lose, no good to nobody, no good for nothing, because you're either too old or too young or too fat or too slim or too ugly. I'd starve to death before I'd sing any such song as that. Your radio waves and your jukeboxes and your movies and your songbooks are already loaded down and running over with such no-good songs as that anyhow. I'm out to prove to you that this is your world, and that if it has hit you pretty hard and knocked you for a dozen loops, that you can get up singing. Now that's religion." Okay, keep on out there. We need you, and all of your listeners too. Bye for now.
I was delighted to be asked to talk about Woody Guthrie and what his music and work has meant to me in my life. I could spend a half an hour on that, and we don't want to do that here. So I thought I would focus on one song in particular. And of course, while I grew up singing This Land Is Your Land and Roll On, Columbia, Roll On, and many other songs from Woody's catalog, I think one of the most consequential labor songs of the American folk canon is Woody Guthrie's Deportee. And it's a song that started its life out as a poem, The Plane Wreck at Los Gatos Canyon. And then Woody took it from there, and he tried different music to it, sometimes as a talking blues, sometimes as a more melodic ballad. But it was not until 1959 that a man named Marty Hoffman, who was living in Fort Collins, Colorado, working as a grad student and involved with the farm labor community, picked up Woody's words and turned them into the song that we know as Deportee or Deportees, as listed on some album jackets. It's a song that elicits compassion, I think, from people of any age. And I was only 8 years old when I first heard the song. My sister Jean got me a record, a double-disc album of Arlo Guthrie and Pete Seeger live at Carnegie Hall. And it was a record that changed the course of my life. I can honestly say that I probably would not have gone into folk music or have the career that I have were it not for that recording and the songs on it. It's a recording that took me all over the world. There were songs on that record representing cultures all over the planet. And it helped me understand that the sea of humanity was an extraordinary thing, and that music was a vessel that I could sail onto that sea and explore and experience the world. And so I'm incredibly grateful to Woody Guthrie for writing The Plane Wreck at Los Gatos Canyon, to Marty Hoffman for writing the beautiful music that we have come to know as Deportees. And a huge thanks to all of the labor singers and songwriters and troubadours over the years who have kept this tradition alive in the American folk music world. Happy Labor Day.
The crops are rolling and the peaches are rotting. The oranges are packed in their creosote dumps. They're taking us back to that Mexican border. They owe the money to way back again. Goodbye to my one, goodbye Rosalita, adios mi amigos, Jesus and Maria. You won't have a lane when you ride the big airplane, only we'll call you My father, father, he waded that river, spent all the money he made in his life. My sisters and brothers come working the fruit trees, rode on the trucks till they took down and died. Goodbye to my one, goodbye Rosalita, adios mi amigos, Jesus and Maria. You won't have a lane when you ride the big airplane, only we'll call you Some of us are illegal and some are not wanted. The crops are all in and we've got to move on. It's 600 miles to that Mexican border. They drive us like outlaws, like rustlers, like goodbye to my one, goodbye Rosalita, adios mi amigos, Jesus and Maria. You won't have a lane when you ride the big airplane, only we'll call you Sky plane caught fire over Los Gatos Canyon. fireball of lightning, it shook all our hills. All of these people all scattered like dry leaves. Radio says that they're just deportees. We died in your hills and we died in your valleys, died on your deserts and we died on your plains. We died in your orchards and we died in your bushes. Both sides of the river we died, just the same. Goodbye to the one, goodbye to the leader. Adios, mi amigos, Jesus and Maria. Won't have a lane when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be deportees. Is this the best way we can grow our big orchards? Is this the best way we can grow our good fruit? People scattered like dry leaves died right on our topsoil, to be called by no name except deportees. Goodbye to my one, goodbye Rose leader. Adios, mi amigos, Jesus and Maria. You won't have a name when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be
My name is Paul Kaplan, and David, my Woody Guthrie story concerns the Odyssey program in Philadelphia. It's actually when I had the pleasure of meeting you. I went there for a week and sang in different venues, different schools mostly, and I sang at your school out on the main line, and that was, of course, a piece of cake, but one of the other institutions was a juvenile detention facility for teenage boys, and I had a certain amount of trepidation going in there. I decided to do a program of outlaw songs like Banks of the Ohio, Tom Dooley, Mac the Knife. But the one song that I think they liked the best and resonated the most with them was Woody Guthrie's The Philadelphia Lawyer. And they especially liked the last verse. Tonight back in old Pennsylvania, amongst those beautiful pines, there's one less Philadelphia lawyer in old Philadelphia tonight.
If you gather around me, children, a story I will tell. Pretty boy Floyd, an outlaw, Oklahoma knew him well. It was in the town of Shawnee on a Saturday afternoon. His wife beside him in their wagon. As into town they rode, and a deputy approached them in a manner adequate, using vulgar words and language. His wife she overheard. Pretty boy grabbed a long chain and the deputy grabbed a gun. And when the fight was over, he laid that deputy down. Now there's many starving farmers. The story always told how he paid off their mortgages and he saved their little homes. Some will tell you a stranger who had come to bum me, and underneath his napkin left a $1,000 bill. It was in Oklahoma City. It was on a Christmas day. A whole carload of groceries with a letter that did say, well, you say that I'm an outlaw. You say that I'm a thief. Here's a Christmas dinner for the families on relief. Now it's through this I meet lots of funny men. Some will rob you with a 6-gun, and some with a fountain pen. But as through this life you ramble, and as through this life you roam, you will never see an outlaw drive a family from their home. You will never see an outlaw drive a family
Hi, my name is Christine Lavin. I'm a folk singer living in New York City. And Woody Guthrie once said, the job of the folk singer is to comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable. And that little phrase has got me out of predicaments now and then when I say something on stage that upsets somebody. It happened a couple of years ago. This woman came backstage screaming at me for something she disagreed with that I had sung on stage. And she was just going on. And I tried to get a word in, and she wouldn't stop screaming and yelling. So finally I just blurted out, you know, Woody Guthrie said the job of the folk singer is to comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable. So maybe you're just a little bit too comfortable, missy. Well, she started chasing me after that, and I had to run away from her. She was a nut. But that phrase is one that has always stayed with me, and I thank him for saying it, and I'm sure I'll be using it again.
It was early spring, the strike was on. Drove us miners out of doors, out from the houses that the company owned. Moved into tents at that old Ludlow. I was worried bad about my children. Soldiers guard and the railroad bridge. Every once in a while, bullets fly, kicking up gravel under my foot. We were so afraid you'd kill our children. Dug us a cave that was 7 foot deep. Carried a young ones and a pregnant woman down inside the cave to sleep. That very night the soldiers waited till us and mine was asleep. We stuck around our little tent town, soaked our tents with your kerosene. You struck a match and the blaze had started. Pulled the triggers of your Kaplan guns. I made a run for the children, but the fire won't stop me. 13 children died from your guns. Carried my blanket through our fence corner, watched the fire till the blaze died down. Helped some people grab their belongings while your bullets shot us down. I'll never forget the look on the faces of the men and women that awful day. We stood around to preach their funerals, lay the corpses of the dead away. We took some seamen, we walled that cave up where you killed those 13 children inside. I said, God bless the Mine Workers Union, and I hung my head and cried.
Hello, my name is Tret Fure. I started playing guitar when I was 11 years old. I lived in a very remote place, and I discovered Judy Collins and Joan Baez and Bob Dylan. And because there were no songbooks where I was and at that time, I learned how to play by listening to my hi-fi, by picking up the needle and putting it down. I learned how to listen for lyrics. I learned how to fingerpick. And through Bob Dylan, I discovered Woody Guthrie. And through Woody Guthrie, I discovered Pete Seeger. And through both of them, I discovered what it meant to be part of a union. I joined the Musicians Union at 16, and I've been a proud card-carrying union member still, and I am now 69. And I was president of Local 1000 for 6 years, and all because of Woody and Pete. They are my heroes, and will always be.
Woody Guthrie wrote on his guitar, "This machine kills fascists." And of course, Pete Seeger picked up on that, and on the face of his banjo, he wrote, "This machine surrounds hate and forces it to surrender." So I've got a banjo, and in a spiraling toward the center, I've written, "This machine drives neocon, homophobic, warmongering, corporatist, anti-intellectual, polluting, imperialist, crypto-fascist, hate-speak, faux populist, theocratic, chicken hawk privateers from the room." They say that brevity is the soul of wit, and Woody's definitely got me beat there.
I'm gonna tell all you fascists you may be surprised. People all over this world are getting organized and bound to lose. You fascists are bound to lose. Race hatred cannot stop us. This one thing I know. The poll tax and Jim Crow and greed have got to go. You're bound to lose. You fascists are bound to lose. All of you fascists are bound to lose. You fascists are bound to lose. You fascists are bound to lose. You're bound to lose. You fascists are bound to lose. People of every color marching side by side, marching across the fields where 1 million fascists died. You're bound to lose. You fascists are bound to lose. All of you fascists are bound to lose. You fascists are bound to lose. You fascists are bound to lose. You're bound to lose. You fascists are bound to lose. Going to this battle, take my union gun. Gonna end this world of slavery before this war is won. You're bound to lose. You fascists are bound to lose. All you fascists are bound to lose. You fascists are bound to lose. You fascists are bound to lose. You're bound to lose. You fascists are bound to lose. All you fascists are bound to lose. You fascists are bound to lose. You fascists are bound to lose. You're bound to lose. You fascists are bound to
Hi, my name's Liam Maloy. I'm a musician and researcher from Nottingham in the UK. 2 years ago, I was fortunate enough to get a fellowship from the Woody Guthrie Centre to come to Tulsa, Oklahoma to look in the Woody Guthrie archive. So I spent nearly 3 weeks looking through Woody's diaries, his notebooks, his letters, his lyric sheets for his songs, his own personal music collection, which is written all over, and his artwork. I was in there specifically to look at the music that he wrote for children. I discovered that he wrote over 400 songs for children. I guess what I found inspiring was just the level of creativity, the sheer quantity of writing, art, philosophical stuff, the way he'd document his life through his creative outpourings. I was specifically interested in a time when he was writing a lot for children. At the time, he had 4 children in New York. There's some tragic story there because his first New York daughter, Kathy, died. It was also at a time when he was developing Huntington's disease. Most commentators suggest that the Huntington's was associated with this kind of manic creativity. Another thing I find really inspiring about Woody was the way he documented everyday life, just the domestic routines, as a political statement for me, just the documenting of real people's day-to-day lives in the way that Woody did is incredibly powerful, moving the way that especially working class people are defined from a kind of ideology to giving them agency and having a voice. I just got this overwhelming sense he's incredibly well read, he's incredibly thoughtful, philosophical around issues of parenting, education, loads of other things about modernism and art and science and technology. So that's my Woody Guthrie inspiration story in a nutshell.
Hey, I'm Bill Harley. When I got a guitar, one of the first things I did was learn about 15 or 20 of Woody's songs. He's been a big influence on all of us. I wouldn't be doing what I was doing if there was no Woody Guthrie. I learned from Woody that a song ought to sing well, that 3 chords are all you need, so if you start getting too fancy, to remind yourself back, go back to basics. I also learned from him that putting people's stories, making the personal, can make it become very political. And I also learned from him to play. Woody's lyrics and his work, even when it was the most political, was also still playful, and he went right to the heart of things. And I take that as a songwriter and a reminder. And on our refrigerator, we had this facsimile of a postcard that I look at every day. It's addressed to Woody from People's Artists Incorporated. It must have been his booking agency. I don't know who. And it's February 26, 1947. It's this little card. It says, notice of booking, Woody Guthrie, his name written in. Has a booking on written in Saturday, March 15th at 2:30 p.m. at Local 65 Children's Party. It made me feel good about my work. Address, 13 Astor Place, New York City. No travel directions. Person in charge, Kevin Mullen. And at the bottom it says fee, $15. So every time I go out to sing for kids, I'm going out the door, I look at this card. So Woody's with me all the time.
Well, I'm gonna get through this world the best I can if I can. And I'm gonna get through this world, and I think I can. Well, I'm gonna work in this world the best I can if I can. And I'm gonna work in this world, and I think I can, and I think I can. I'm gonna get through this world the best I can if I can. I'm gonna work in this world the best I can if I can. I'm gonna get through this world the best I can. Well, I'm Well, I'm gonna clean up this world the best I can if I can. And I'm gonna clean up this world, and I think I can. Well, I'm gonna leave this world behind the best I can if I can. And I'm gonna leave this world behind, and I think I can, and I think I can. I'm gonna clean up this world the best I can if I can. I'm gonna leave this world behind the best I can if I can. I'm gonna get through this world the best I can.
So, I'm David Rovics, and I am answering the question, what is Woody Guthrie's influence on my life? When I was a kid, listening to Woody's children's songs that were recorded by Pete Seeger, I think that's how I first heard Woody Guthrie's music was through Pete Seeger's many recordings of Woody's songs, both his children's songs and some of his grown-up labor songs as well. And then as a teenager, when I started getting into playing guitar and learning other people's songs and eventually into writing songs, learning a lot of Woody's songs was a big part of that process for me, along with learning songs of other people that whose songwriting had a huge impact on me, such as Utah Phillips and Phil Oakes and Buffy St. Marie, Bob Dylan, a lot of other folks and other less well-known folks like Jim Page. So much of why we know Pete Seeger is because he sang Woody's songs, or I mean that, that's intentional. He was trying to promote Woody's songs because he thought Woody was brilliant, and I think Woody was brilliant too. His skills were so diverse. He was brilliant as a political commentator, but he also had lots of other skills as a artist and musician and a writer. He was a great writer of prose as well. Wrote a wonderful autobiography. I think a big part of the reason why we know who Woody is or was because of the social movements that he came out of. And that promoted his music and promoted music generally because they were aware. I'm talking particularly about like the Communist Party in the 1930s. They were aware of the power of music and culture, and they very much consciously incorporated that into their activities. And Woody was very central to that whole process of trying to use music as a tool for social change.
So don't strike no light, it don't cause a riot. There's gonna be a blackout tonight.
My name is Elise Witt, and I teach at a special purpose middle school for teenage refugee girls in Decatur, Georgia. A song that has been super meaningful for our community is This Land Is Your Land. The students love learning about Woody Guthrie and his migrations. We make sure to sing the verses that aren't always sung, but that feel especially perfect for us. This verse we sing slow and a cappella. One bright sunny morning, in the shadow of the steeple, by the relief office, I saw my people. As they stood there hungry, I stood there wondering if this land was made for you and me. And then we burst into energetic dancing with the last verse. Nobody living can ever stop me as I go walking that freedom highway. Nobody living can make me turn back, 'cause this land was made for you and me.
I love Woody Guthrie's songs, his poetry, his life. It's really become quite a legend. My name is Sonia Rutstein, a.k.a. Sonia Disappear Fear, and I recorded this just now for you in Baltimore, where I live, where I'm quarantined. And no, I think what's so awesome about it is that the music, is truthful, so it's completely accurate today. We walk the same earth, and we have the same feelings and the same frustrations. It's amazing, and it's really demonstrative of the cycles of life and human nature and all of that. So yeah, Woody Guthrie music inspires me, helps me navigate through the ups and downs and the turnarounds. And I think I like to play with the songs more than I like to duplicate them. Like to they just sort of work through me, as opposed to, just learning them. Of course, I can learn them and sing along and hum along on the road, but when I get down with my piano or my guitar, they just sort of take on a new life of their own. So This Land Is Your Land took the Woody Guthrie song, put that into a minor key, so it's instead of starting on C, it's C minor, and moves along those three, simple 1-4-5 blues chords, and then goes back to a major G right before the ending, and that kind of turns it around and gives it a little bit of hope, it's also going to be known as I Can't Breathe, I Can't Breathe, I Can't Breathe. I hope you love it. Thanks, David, for giving me a chance to be heard. Bye. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island.
Hi there, my name is Reggie Harris, and Woody Guthrie has been a part of my life since my second grade teacher, Miss Charlotte Churn, walked into the room one day and told us that we were going to sing a song by a man who traveled around. She taught us, "This Land Is Your Land." I had no idea that day that other children in America were learning that song, but for me, it was an introduction to a lot of places I didn't know about. It also introduced me to the Dust Bowl and to a lot of poverty in the world. And years later, as a songwriter, I would write a song about Woody Guthrie and travel around to many of those same places and sing about him. So as a songwriter and a human being, I owe a lot to Woody Guthrie. He is one of my songwriting and activist heroes.
My name is Pearlie Ray Gates. Woody Guthrie was sure a big influence on my generation's music and my life in general. Woody taught us all to question authority early on. Heck, we might have never looked at the backside of signs that way if it weren't for Woody. That side is made for you and me, still. As for being a rambling folk singer, Woody was my mentor. Well, I may never hop a freight train, but with my guitar, I too have rambled around this country and beyond, walking, driving, flying, singing, recycling old songs in Woody's footsteps. I learned how the spirit and muse are nourished by roaming. He loved talking with all kinds of people, and his pen was the torch, drawing national attention to their problems. His songs inspired me and my peers to do likewise, to focus our writing on social, political, and environmental issues, and to get our audiences thinking and singing about the issues. But not to forget to get goofy and have fun with writing songs for kids. Yeah, Woody sure was a big influence on me.
Hi, Sally Rogers here. You may think that our national anthem is the Star-Spangled Banner, but in truth, Woody Guthrie wrote our national anthem, which is "This Land Is Your Land." Far more people would choose to sing that in honor of our country than would choose to sing the Star-Spangled Banner. And long live Woody Guthrie. Woody Guthrie, presente.
This land is your land. This land is my land. From California, well, to the New York Island. From the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. I tell you, this land was made for you and me. As I went walking down that ribbon of a highway, I saw above me all that endless skyway. Now I saw below me that golden valley, and I said, this land was made for you and me. As I was walking, now they tried to stop me. They put up a sign that said, oh, it said private property. Well, on the backside, you know, it said nothing. So it must be that side was made
made for you and me. For you and me, this land is your land. This land is my land. From Riverside, California, to the Staten Island, well on down to Augusta, Georgia. Don't forget to say Philadelphia. We moved on down to Mississippi. Houston, Texas, LA. Yeah, you know this land is your land. This land is my land. Oh, this land is your land. Oh, you got to believe that. Oh, it's my land. This land was made for you and me. Oh, this land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is
You've been listening to Music for the New Revolution. I'm Rodney Wittenberg.
I'm David Heitler-Clevens.
Music for the New Revolution is produced at Melody Vision Recording Studios in Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania. Music for the New Revolution is written and produced by David Heitler-Clevens and Rodney Wittenberg.
And edited and co-produced by Ben Flax.
You can find us at musicforthenewrevolution.com or MFTNR. Like us on Facebook and follow our Spotify playlist.
And our podcasts can be found on SoundCloud and iTunes, and you can also be a patron, a supporter of our podcast on Patreon.
This is Music for the New Revolution.
Spend it all today and we will bill you tomorrow. 3-piece suits and bank accounts in Bahamas. Wall Street crime will never send it to the slammer. Tell all the children in the arms of the mamas. The F-15 is a homicide bomber. TV commercial for a popper pill culture. Drug companies circling like a vulture. Amaraki babies with the G.I. Joe father. 10 years from now, is anybody